There's a moment in the Testaments that feels quiet, almost invisible. No alarms, no dramatic music, no one is screaming. And yet, it may be one of the darkest confirmations the series has ever delivered. Because sometimes, the most terrifying things in Gilead don't happen in public. They happen behind closed doors. They happen when everyone thinks you're safe. They happen when you're unconscious. And in this episode, something shifts for Agnes, something irreversible, not just emotionally, but psychologically. Something that confirms her biggest fear about the world she lives in. Because what happens when the people you're taught to trust become the very people you should fear the most? What happens when safety is just another illusion? And what if this moment isn't just about Agnes? What if this is the moment that quietly shapes her future, her decisions, and ultimately her fate? Because by the end of Green Tea, the Testaments doesn't just tell us something disturbing, it confirms something terrifying. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The episode begins with tension already simmering beneath the surface. The Greens are preparing for a tea party. But this isn't just any social gathering. This is a test, a performance, a carefully orchestrated evaluation where young girls are measured, graded, and ultimately assigned futures. Because in Gilead, marriage isn't about love. It's about placement, control, ownership. And as preparations begin, Daisy immediately senses something is wrong. Her sarcastic voiceover, "Always be extra nice to the frigid sadists who are arranging your marriage," lands with quiet bitterness. It sounds like humor, but it isn't. It's fear disguised as sarcasm. And that fear becomes very real when a Mayday operative approaches Daisy at the florist's shop. The woman is panicked, desperate, urgent. She believes they're closing in. She wants out. Immediately. This is important because the Testaments rarely shows fear this openly. People in Gilead are trained to suppress emotion. Panic is dangerous. Panic gets you noticed. And that's exactly what happens. Later, Daisy learns the woman tried to run when the eyes arrived. She was shot dead in the street. Just like that. No ceremony, no justice, no explanation. And suddenly, the message becomes clear. You don't survive in Gilead by panicking. You survive by pretending everything is normal, even when it isn't. As Daisy and Agnes approach the Mackenzie house, they pass bodies strung up as warnings. It's a chilling visual, but what makes it more disturbing is Agnes' reaction. She misinterprets Daisy's fear. The eyes will always find them, Agnes reassures her. You don't have to worry. And this moment quietly reveals something crucial about Agnes. She isn't afraid of Gilead. She trusts it. She believes the system works. She believes the rules keep her safe. But what Agnes doesn't understand is that the system itself is the danger. And that belief is about to shatter. Inside the Mackenzie house, the atmosphere is suffocating. Guardians everywhere. Tension is thick in the air. Paula is obsessing over perfection. Everything feels like a performance. Because it is. Upstairs, Agnes and Becca practice waltzing. It's an intimate, quiet moment. But there's something deeper happening here. Becca is clearly in love with Agnes. The show doesn't state it directly. It doesn't need to. The longing is obvious. And yet, this love exists in a world where it can never survive. Another quiet tragedy. Another silent fear. Another reminder that Gilead controls not just bodies, but hearts. Meanwhile, Daisy attempts to connect with Garth, relaying the florist's warning. But instead of offering reassurance, Garth reinforces Daisy's fear. Gilead is retaliating. The resistance is in danger. And yet, they still want Daisy to stay. They still want her to keep gathering intelligence. This is another subtle clue. Because Daisy realizes something uncomfortable. Mayday might not be able to protect her. And for the first time, she considers escape. But there's no escape. Not really. Not in Gilead. The tea ceremony itself is quietly brutal. Girls are graded as they serve tea. One mistake can determine their future. And when Miriam trips and spills tea, the consequences become terrifyingly real. She fears being sent to the colonies. And no one reassures her. Because everyone knows she might be right. This is how Gilead maintains control. Fear, uncertainty, constant evaluation. Then comes the cake. Inside is a ceramic bride, a symbol of fate, of destiny. And when Agnes bites down, she cracks her tooth. It seems small, but it's not, because this moment leads her to Dr. Grove, and that's when everything changes. At the dentist's office, something feels wrong immediately. Dr. Grove sedates Agnes. He closes the door. He removes his white coat. These are quiet details, but they matter, because when Agnes wakes up, something feels off. She doesn't know why. Not yet. But Daisy and Garth notice something else entirely. The chocolate commander Mackenzie gives Daisy has Japanese writing on it. Japan has sanctions against Gilead. So why does Mackenzie have it? This is another subtle clue. Is he traveling, trading, communicating secretly, or is he hiding something? The show doesn't answer directly, but it plants the question. And the Testaments rarely plants questions without purpose. Later that night, Agnes prepares for bed. It's a quiet scene, slow, almost peaceful. She removes the layers of clothing she's forced to wear. Then she sees it. Her shirt, the laces, they're wrong, sloppily tied, misaligned. Someone touched her while she was unconscious. And suddenly, everything clicks. This wasn't the first time. Earlier in the season, Dr. Grove touched her while placing the X-ray apron. Agnes dismissed it. She rationalized it because she trusted him, because she trusted authority, because she trusted the system. But now, she knows. And the realization devastates her. This is the moment Agnes' biggest fear becomes real. She isn't safe. Not even with trusted adults. Not even in medical settings. Not even in her own body. And what makes this even more disturbing is how quiet the revelation is. No one else knows. No one else sees. But Agnes does. And once she understands, she can never go back. This moment changes everything for Agnes, because trust is the foundation of Gilead's control. Girls are taught to obey, to trust authority, to believe they're protected. But once that trust breaks, the illusion collapses. And this could be the turning point for Agnes. Will she begin questioning the system? Will she become more cautious, more resistant, more dangerous? And what about Daisy? She's already losing faith in Mayday. Agnes is losing faith in Gilead. Both girls are beginning to see the truth, and that's dangerous, because awareness leads to rebellion. But rebellion leads to consequences, just like the florist, just like Miriam, just like everyone else who stepped out of line. So the question becomes, what happens when Agnes stops trusting? What happens when she realizes the world she believed in was never safe? By the end of the episode, nothing explodes. No one storms the house. No dramatic confrontation happens. But something far more powerful takes place. Agnes learns the truth. And in Gilead, truth is dangerous. Because once you see the cracks, you start noticing everything else. The fear, the manipulation, the control. And maybe, just maybe, this is the moment Agnes begins to change. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. Just like the moment itself. Because sometimes, fate doesn't arrive with noise. Sometimes, it arrives in silence, in a misaligned place, in a memory that suddenly makes sense, in a realization that nothing is safe. And once that realization happens, there's no going back, because Agnes' biggest fear has now been confirmed, and her fate may have just begun.